Let's go. On est live. What's up, what's up, what's up?
What's up, Phil?
Tranquille, bro. On est là, on est là, on est là. Grosse journée, il fait pas beau. Mercredi, c'est une journée parfaite pour Winners Wednesday, pour se remettre back on track. Let's go, guys. On va se donner des bons tricks aujourd'hui. On va justement parler de comment et pourquoi c'est vital de gagner. Pourquoi c'est vital de gagner tout le temps. Pourquoi c'est vital de penser et opérer dans cette mentalité-là. Il y a beaucoup de gens, tu sais, que je parlais de ça dernièrement avec mon frère, George, parce que moi et mon frère, on est un peu différents dans notre personnalité. Mon frère est plus pragmatique. Mon frère, il est allé à la maîtrise, puis tout, il a continué l'université. Me and my brother, you met my brother. He went to Portugal to meet you, bro. We're not
Yeah,
the
we went for dinner a few times. Good guy, solid guy.
solid guy. We're two, like we're off
Different
like
personalities, completely different personalities. But both of you are very smart in your own little domain. You're
it's
more
weird
the
because we're like
entrepreneur,
the
more
same.
the.
We're like the same because we're obviously the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? But we're so different. Oh, what are you
The
saying?
Cavallino.
Ça, c'est Cavallino sur le disco. Faudrait que j'aille le fermer, hein? On est dans le live stream, Kev, si tu veux venir nous rejoindre.
So we should bring Kev as a special guest one of these days.
I told him. He's not ready now.
He's not ready. Okay. When
He
he's
said
ready.
he's not ready now, but ouais, c'est sûr qu'on
But
fait ça
me
avec,
too, I wasn't ready, and neither were you a few weeks ago. And now look at
C'est
us.
vrai, hein?
We're literally just
C'est
we're like,
vrai,
okay,
tu
go
savais
start
bien.
the live. Let's go.
Yeah.
Shit.
But yeah, bro, like it's just like we have a different
He's like,
approach.
not now. We know, Kev. We know, man. Soon, though.
On
Soon,
t'aime,
bro.
Kev. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Mais ouais, qu'est-ce que je disais? Je disais que mon frère, dans le fond, c'est ça. We don't have the same approach towards winning. He likes winning. He loves winning. Like when we were kids, bro, he was the worst at playing games against because he hated it. He hated he hated when he lost. When he was losing, he was leaving. My brother, you could tell you. Quand on jouait à Mario Kart, bro, aussitôt que mon frère perdait la game, on pouvait plus. On perdait un joueur, bro. On perdait mon frère. So what is it about winning that keeps people away? Like some people, like they're like, yeah, winning is good, but like you can't win all the time. And why would you put winning as a responsibility, or why would you put winning in life as a priority? Why is it a living matter? Like for people like us, you and me, Jordan, like we put winning on top because c'est comme si. Okay,
I have a deep question for you. Are you driven more by winning or by not losing?
Okay, first I hate losing. That's one thing I hate. That's one thing about. There's one thing about losing that I don't like. Is the feeling of having to like so losing contracts or losing it's the fact that I did not find
Like
the key. I worked so hard and I did not find the key to open the door. Why? It's when I approach my approach towards winning is always a systematic one. There has to be systems in place because we have to win, bro. Like it has to work. It has to work. Before we even start something, I plan.
You're putting up systems before you even start, or do you test things out first? Okay, so if this works, then I'm going to build a system around it. Or do you just build something right away with systems? Because doesn't it take so much time? It takes so much fucking time. doesn't it take time to build a system? Imagine building a system around something that you don't know is not tested and you don't know if it's going to work or not. Or should you launch something, test it? Okay, it works. Now we build systems. Because imagine just trying something and start building a system right away. What do you think about that?
That's a very good question, bro. Like the way
Because
I
I'm in a
see
similar
it.
predicament right now. I'll tell you after, but yeah, I want to know your thoughts on that.
So I started my own like little businesses and little projects. People that know me knows that like I hated a job and I always tried to start a business since I was like 17 years old, 18 years old. I was interested in that. Puis la chose qui se passe dans ton cerveau every time you're trying something, a new project, you have an idea. The immature one would always underestimate. So my first projects were always immature, and they were always, I would say, not well prepared because I did not anticipate the amount of energy, time, efforts, money, name it. I underestimated everything by at least 10 times. 10, 12, 15 times the amount that would be like required to accomplish what I had in my head. So the way it works, you start something and you're like, okay, I'm going to leave my job now. And by 3 months, so that was my first thought. The first time I started a project, I'm going to leave my job. I don't need this shitty job. I have a project. I have an idea. I'm just going to push it. And by 3 months, I calculate that I should be okay with my finance. In my
What do you mean by that,
story,
though? What do you mean by that? Okay with your finance, meaning to
well,
fund the project, or
okay, so mettons que t'es payé, I don't know, let's say, I'll give you an example. You're paid like 60K a year. You're making X amount of money per month, whatever. Ça te coûte, je sais pas, tes dépenses, ton budget, OK? Tu avais calculé que ton budget, tu rentrerais dans ton budget puis tu serais capable de payer tes dépenses X. Puis si tu pars ton projet, it should bring you the same amount or enough or like whatever you budgeted. Like it doesn't really matter how much you budgeted. But when you start a project, the first time you start a project, pretty much anyone I know, and for my first 2-3 projects I started, I was 18 years old. It's always the same thing. You start something, you think it's going to take you like a year. It's going to take you like 5 months, 6 months to cover just to cover your expenses. Like, I know it's dumb, but it's like moi, les premiers projets que je partais, il faut que tu te dises, tu as 18 ans, you don't think about taxes, you don't think about paying your... Like, if you're
but fuck
overthinking
taxes
it...
at the beginning, though. Like, I don't know. At the beginning, you really worry about taxes. Like, you're not really making money at the beginning.
You're
I
not
feel like
making
that's just
money. So you're just trying to sell something at that point.
Yeah, you're just trying to sell something.
Like,
you're trying to make it all work.
Ben, make it all work. The first thing you need to make work is sales. So you need to get that
Right.
going first. So
Exactly.
so I started projects like I was like 16 years old. I was selling clothes. I was buying clothes from China and selling them at school. I couldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. And I was not allowed to do that. I started like that. I was selling, I won't say like what I was selling exactly, but I was selling people that know me at shout out Compétence 2000, bro. Comme I was at school. I was selling clothes at the same time. That's what was paying for my expenses. And at the time, I had ideas of growing the thing. So I was making ads on Facebook. I was pushing it. Like I was literally talking to everyone on my Facebook, opening toutes les conversations. Tu sais, on était back en 2007, bro. Comme 2006, 2007. Facebook venait juste de commencer. Là, j'écrivais à tout le monde. Hey, j'ai des vêtements, non, 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 non. Si tu cherches quelque chose, tu cherches un sac, tu cherches quelque chose. Là, les gens, des fois, ça marchait pas. Des fois, les gens, ils me bloquaient. Comme, parle-moi pas. Mais j'ai eu des commandes. J'avais des commandes. Chaque semaine, j'avais des commandes. Je faisais des commandes. Je vendais mon fournisseur. Puis je vendais des sacs. Puis je vendais des manteaux d'hiver. Des bottes, des manteaux d'hiver, des sacs à main.
Compétence 2000 vendait du linge.
Non, mais à Compétence 2000, je faisais un cours.
Mais il y avait une petite boutique. Il y avait une petite boutique qui vendait des linges de sport, non?
Non. Je vendais du linge au monde dans la cafétéria, bro. I was in the cafeteria, bro. I had no job. I was at school, and I was selling clothes to people in the cafeteria. I was literally, yeah. I have a shop. I had a Picasa, and the time, at the time, it was Picasa Web. I don't know if you remember that website. C'était une place où tu pouvais avoir des galeries de photos. So I had galleries of all the products I was able to get from the Chinese suppliers. That was before drop shipping in Amazon. Like
Oh
way
yeah, I
before.
remember. I remember this. I remember you telling me this. How old were you when you started this?
I was 16.
So that's where
16,
that's where you
17.
got your sale. That's
17.
where you got your salesmanship from.
I started at
And then-
16 and went through 18. I was listen, I was not like a big time entrepreneur there. It was just like something to pay
No,
my
but it's not
expenses.
that. It's not about that. It's like me when I was in high school. Like you remember when the first DVD burners came out?
Yeah.
Like you
That
could
was
have
fun.
popped in. You could have popped in a CD if you knew what you were doing. You could have popped in a CD and download movies, even the movies that were just out in the theaters. Like, yeah, it's obviously illegal, but anyways, I was like 13 years old, bro. In secondary 1, secondary 2, 13, 14 years old, bro. I would pop the CD in. My brother showed me how to burn movies, bro. And then I would go on MSN Messenger because that was the marketing channel. I
Mhm.
would go and I would put it as my status on M&M,
Oh,
selling
ouais.
whenever like a new movie came out. So like 007, everybody wanted to watch this
No
movie.
way.
I was the only one who knew how to do this in my school. There was no, I don't even think pirating was a thing. I was like one of the first ones to do it. So I don't even think there was laws out yet, if it's possible. And I would go to the Dollarama or at the store. I would buy like some CDs, DVD rewritables, and I
Mhm.
would pop them into my computer. I would burn the CD,
Wow.
and I would be standing at the corner in high school. Like I would put the orders, I would go on MSN and I would type on my status like selling the new James Bond movie or selling
No
I
way.
think it was Borat at the time, if I'm not mistaken. When did Borat come out? I think when Borat first came out in the movies or some kind of movie like that, and it was really popular. Everybody wanted to go watch it at the movies, but I was the first one. Like, yeah, I'm selling the DVDs. Meet at school, and I would take orders, bro. And I would go to school the next day for $5. I would sell the movies for $5. I remember I would put them in a Ziploc bag. I would put the DVD in a Ziploc bag, zip it up, and I would come put them in my inside pocket jacket. And I would be standing at the corner
No
in the
way.
cafeteria, like $5.
Like the mixtape, the guys that were selling mixtape in New York, like back in the days. I don't know if
Yeah, type
still
thing,
have
type thing. But I
crazy.
did it before all that shit. Well, probably not before like the.
Bro, I was so young. And you make me think when do you remember because he told me James Bond. You could ask, I don't know if we could name him, but you could ask our friend Page there. Like I try to hustle him for the cheats in 007 on the N64 when we were kids. It's like, ouais, je te charge 5 piastres puis je te mets les cheats.
The cheats.
Pour mettre les cheats
The cheats for what?
for 007. James Bond 007 on the N64. When we were kids, tu pouvais
Ah,
faire
right,
les
because we couldn't just go online and get it back then.
Ben, moi, mon père
Like,
avait l'Internet. That was the thing. My dad had the internet, so I
so
had the
not
cheats.
everybody had it. So like you would
Not
write, we
everybody
would
had
write
it.
it down. We didn't really have a printer, so we just write down the
I
cheat:
used
up,
to
down, left, right, circle, X, square,
exactly. I
triangle,
swear to God, I used
up,
to call
up,
my
down.
cousin. I used to call my cousin because he was buying those magazines. I used to call my cousin to ask him on the Saturday morning, ouais, c'est quoi les cheats pour tel jeu? Because the guy had the magazines with the cheats in them.
The
Anyways,
GTA cheats were the shit. I don't know if you remember
ouais,
if you
ouais,
ever
ouais,
played
ouais. Ben
GTA,
oui,
GTA
bro.
Vice City,
The
bro. I would be
years before
obsessed with
that.
flying cars. I would always do the flying car
I
cheat.
played the first GTA,
I'd
the
get a
very
mental
first
car,
one, the one you
and
were
I would
you
just
were
start
playing
flying.
the 2D ones. You played the 2D GTA's.
Yeah, I started at GTA 3. Excuse me.
So that's 3D.
I started at GTA 3. That was the first one that I tried. Was there GTA 1, 2, 3?
But yeah,
The
of course, bro.
Bro,
Those were
GTA
the
3 came out a long time. GTA 3, I was a kid. I was
I played
actually
all
a kid.
GTA's. I was a kid too, and I used to play GTA 1 and 2 at my cousin's house while my aunt was cutting because she was cutting our she was doing our haircuts. And while my brother was getting his haircut done, I was playing. I was way too young to play that game, but whatever. It
Did
was
your
the
parents
90s.
and your family ever tell you like, no, you're a kid, you can't play those games.
They didn't
Or were
know.
they
They
like,
didn't
oh,
know what was the game about. They didn't know what was the game about. Everybody
my
was
parents
crazy
knew.
about video games.
My parents knew that it was like M for mature, but like they were like, it's just a game, and they just let us play. Like it's just a game.
It's
Parents
the
of today
90s,
forget it.
bro.
Now it's like,
No, no, no.
it's
You can't.
M
You
for
can't.
mature.
Yeah, but the games got so evolved also. Like it's a different type of M for mature, I feel.
Bro,
Before
Conker's
it
Bad
was
Fur Day. You
soft.
have this game, and I want it. I'll trade it. We'll talk after, but I want the
We'll
Conker's
talk
game, bro.
after, bro. We don't have a lot of time, so I'll just keep going. But yeah, bro. Like the thing I was trying to say about today, about Winners Wednesday for today, bro. My message for today, c'est que on prend jamais le succès, nos victoires comme quelque chose qui est vital pour notre survie. Puis ça m'énerve. It bothers me. It bothers me like deeply.
Admit you start getting depressed, like not depressed, but you start getting like disappointed when you don't have a W in a long time. When you don't have a win in a long time, you start getting like you start going down this downward path, and then you keep working and pushing until you get a dub, and then it pushes you back up. And it's like you need consecutive wins and to keep going up. Otherwise, it's like growth is like so necessary for us. If we're not growing, bro, if we're not doing something like to get us in that direction, dude, it makes you feel bad. Like it's not a nice feeling. I don't know.
C'est parce que le point à propos de ça, ce que tu viens de dire qui est vraiment intéressant. What drives us? Money, right? What drives us? Like, as soon as we're in the game, we're looking for a job and we're looking for a salary, right? Like, we're looking for money. Money alone for human beings is not enough to keep you drive and motivated. It's not enough. If you're just thinking that money alone will,
you need a purpose. You need money and purpose attached to it. You're flying. Money, purpose, family, all that shit. You're flying to the moon,
bro. It's like going to a war. Like it's thinking that's. You know what? I don't want to get too political again, but Russians right now think that ammunition and firepower will make them win the war, and it's not happening for them. Why are they not winning? They have the money, they have the firepower, they have the ammunition, they have everything. They send the trucks, the bro, they're hammering Ukraine and they're not getting through. Why? Because ammunition and firepower and all these things are not enough to occupy. So they're not occupying the territory. It can help, like money and all this stuff. It can definitely help, but it won't do the job for you. It just won't do it.
So what more do you need?
So
because those guys, I can tell you, those guys have purpose behind. Like they actually.
Do they? But do they?
Land,
do they really?
They bro. They believe that land belongs to them from back in the day. Like especially, I don't know about the fighters. I know that the leadership
there. Who has
I know
the
that
most
the leadership.
Purpose?
I know that the
Who
leadership
has the most
actually.
Purpose right now? Who has the most purpose? Because they have the money and the ammunition, and they're not going through. Not at all. They're bombarding.
Yeah, but they're also getting supported. Yeah, but Ukraine has the support of almost every single country.
The support.
They're just sending them billions and billions.
Only the support. But it's not Canada. It's still Ukraine, and these people are fighting for their land. So that I feel if we're talking about purpose driven, these guys are very driven. Ukraine, they're driven to keep their land. They've been abused and they've been bombarded. So of course they're gonna, and they don't have the firepower. They're pissed, bro. Of course.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go through anything. And if you're asking me what do you need? You need that type of anything in your life. Just keep pushing. Like if you don't do that, your brain is going to start looking for reasons, excuses. Oh, it's not happening because of the conjuncture, the pandemic. It's not happening. Oh, right now, yeah, the clients are not really open. Their minds are not open right now because they're so busy in some other stuff. Like your mind will find reasons
True.
of why you should quit.
True.
They're not quitting. Ukraine, they're not quitting.
Glengarry, Glen Ross. Remember that scene in Glengarry, Glen Ross? They were talking about the leads being the salespeople were like they were not making a lot of sales, and then Alec Baldwin is like I guess the supervisor or whatever. He's like trying to figure out why there's no sales, and an employee is like the leads are weak. He's
Oh
like
yeah.
the leads are weak. He's like you're weak. He's like you guys
Yeah.
are weak.
The leads
Which
are
is
weak, and we heard that you and I, and we said that. I've said that.
I've said it too.
We went
I've
to our
always
bosses.
blamed everything in the book. I blamed everything in the book instead of taking actual accountability. Like
So, sorry, you were about to say something. Sorry, I've cut you off because I like
no,
my.
I just think it's easier to point at external factors, and it's harder to blame ourselves and take accountability. But if we just took accountability, and even though it's not our responsibility, we still take responsibility. How can you not get better? How can you not be successful with that mindset?
The thing that happened, I feel.
Like, let's say where you and I are working together, you do something, like we're a team, right? And my teammate fucked up or something. I fucked up. My teammate fucked up. I fucked up. Not just them. I fucked up. Imagine having that mindset to always take accountability, always take responsibility for everything around you, and not blaming the leads or shit. I'm shit. How
or
can
the
I
client
make
doesn't
these?
understand, or they don't understand.
How can I
our,
make
our
the client?
offer?
How can
and
I exactly? How can I make the client understand better?
the
What
offer
can I do different?
foolproof? Just
You know,
make it foolproof,
and
bro.
bro,
Sit down.
yeah, but look, we are guilty. You and I are both guilty. How many times do we have days that it's raining and it's like, oh, bro, the weather sucks.
C'est vrai.
Right.
C'est vrai.
On fait ça tout le temps. On fait ça tout le temps. And you know what? And it makes me feel better.
Ouais, ouais, ouais.
And it makes us feel better inside about not having any sales.
But the thing about that is you're not getting any results. You're not getting
But yesterday
anything
you
in.
did something. Yesterday you did something very inspiring. Was it yesterday? When we were talking about the basements being flooded with the inondation, the floods
Yesterday.
in Montreal.
Mhm.
And what did you tell me? You said, let's call construction companies because they're dealing with the floods that are happening. They're dealing with the construction, the insurance, and you
Ah, ouais, ouais, ouais.
said, let's call these specific
Ouais, ouais.
industry. That's a mind taking accountability. Like instead of saying like, oh, there's flood. No, it's like, where's the opportunity in the floods?
In the floods.
The floods mean that
There's
like,
work.
there's work, that
out
there's
there.
construction that needs to be done to fix the floods, and then
Afterwards.
there's gonna have to afterwards there's gonna have to be cleaning that's gonna have to be done. So like, boom, boom, boom. It's like it's
But it's because your mind is getting used to looking for strategies and looking for ways instead of reasons. So, and I've wrote that down. I wanted to say that it's no one cares. Like no one cares until you do. So if you adopt a posture of I won't say loser because some people might get triggered by this, but
say it.
the market will sense it. The market will sense it. Like the market will feel and will react to your posture, your way of standing up, your way of talking.
It's all energy, right? It's all energy.
Your energy when you're on the phone, people will sense that energy that you're losing in the background, and you're out there looking for handouts. Hey, j'ai quelque chose à t'offrir, mais people will sense it.
They sense the desperado. They sense the desperation.
You need to increase the amount and level of actions so you start feeling something. You're not gonna get like if I 10x my actions today, I'm not gonna 10x my results. I'm gonna maybe 4x my results. But the way these W's are gonna have like that effect on me is what you were talking about a little earlier. It's contagious and it's spreading through your whole team. And people will be like, hey, quelle mouche l'a piqué? Yesterday we lost a contract and this morning he's out there getting these W's in. Why? Well, why? Because it's the only remedy. It's the
It's true.
antidote.
It's the only. Yeah, we could sit down and have excuses all day. Yeah, the weather's shit. Yeah, it's
No
we're
one
in
cares, bro.
September. Like, bro, there's always there's always fucking something out there. The world is mass. Like, there's 6 billion people out there. Like, bro, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Like, if that even makes sense in this situation.
And if this thing has to work, like if your project has to work, shouldn't it depend on the fact that you increased your level of actions and you increased your efforts, and not because of the reasons and the conjuncture that went in your favor? Yeah, now it's better, now the environment, now it's cooler outside, so I could sell my service. Like, wouldn't be not like you'd feel nicer and way better if it was really because of your actions. And you'll feel a way, like tu vas te sentir pas mal plus en contrôle la prochaine fois aussi. You're gonna have that sense of control over your actions. Like, these actions, when things are going bad, things are going down, I know that these actions are remedy, and you can only go through that, and like you'll process that information at the same time that you're going through it. Like, things are going bad, actions need to go up, not down. Not, hey, je prends un break, là, ça n'a pas de bon sens, on a eu une grosse semaine, man, ça n'a pas de sens. This is
That's the
really not the
perfect time.
time to take a
No,
break.
that's not the
This is
time.
really not the time. This is
No.
really the time to 10x the level of things you were doing, because
Yeah.
obviously the actions you were taking yesterday, they got you there. You lost the contract. What happened?
Yeah, the rocket ship needs constant thrust. If you don't have constant thrust, what
Boom.
happens? It just falls down.
It just falls down. How could you occupy your territory? You need to occupy your market, not just
Okay, but
send
what would you say
bullets.
to somebody? What would you say to somebody? Okay, look, what would you say? I have a question. What would you say to somebody who doesn't necessarily know what action to take? They just know that they want to get to where they need to go, but they don't know
So
what actions to take. They're there and they have the right mindset,
super
like they want to
super
get to that next level.
effing easy. Super
So,
effing easy. You
okay,
and me knows that the first step is sales, right? Like, whatever you're doing, I hope it sells. If it doesn't sell once, I don't know what you're doing. Like, where are you sitting right now? What are you doing? Are you trying to, like, are you an architect, like trying to, like, sitting down building plans? This is taking too long. So first things first, there has to be some calls. You and me knows. On sait les deux, bro. You're doing 2-3 calls a day.
okay, wait.
Make it
Let me
20-30.
say that.
Make it
Okay, there's
20-30.
somebody. Look, let's say it's somebody that wants to escape the matrix. They don't know what to do, so they're paralyzed by, like, that they don't know what to do. They're like, they know they want to go to that next level, but they don't know what to do. They don't know what they want to launch themselves into. What would you say to that person? So they're not gonna make calls
Quand
if they don't know. Like, they
j'étais,
need
j'ai
some
eu
kind of plan, right?
so I've had that moment when the pandemic hit, and I've had to restart the business, and I was sitting, not every night, but I was at the library. I went at the library. I This, for most people, would seem like a, shooting a shot in the, je sais pas comment on peut le dire là, un coup d'épée dans l'eau, on dit. Ça pourrait donner l'impression que j'avais. I went at the library. I was multiplying actions that I've never did or really, like, took into consideration, because obviously the stuff that I was doing before was not working out for me, or it was just stuff and things I was doing for another part, or not, because before I was Stratégie Conseil was before the pandemic, right? Stratégie Conseil was the fruit of a years of labor and research. Uninet came because the pandemic has hit, and Uninet c'est le produit distillé, la distillation de ce que je suis en train
Station.
d'expliquer. It's
So you're saying,
it's not sitting down. It's
okay.
finding
So
something.
you're saying, so what you're saying, what I gather from that is, just do something. If you don't
Do
know what to
something.
do, just do something. Get off your ass and just do something, because it's going to lead to something that's going to lead to something that's going to lead to something that's going to lead to something.
For the sake of heaven.
And then it's motion. It's all about the motion of the ocean.
It's motion. So if you stay there, what do you believe will happen? Like
Nothing.
once I went from excuses to efforts to make this work, make anything work. I was just trying to make it work, right? And I remember, yo, bro, like I'm human. So I remember the pandemic hit. I just remember François Legault telling everyone, yes, sit down, stay home. And I remember going to my wife's. My wife was happy because she was staying home. She didn't like her job at the time, and she actually made the move. We switched from, but to make it short, I was crying. He said, oh, no, no, plus de, and credit departments in the banks were closing. So my job was basically canceled. I was crying. And I remember my wife, she was happy. So she was talking to her mom and she was like, hey, no, 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 je travaille pas, and I'm still getting paid. I go to our room and I'm like, no, like, c'est pas chill, no, 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 no. And she's just like, hey, comme she's on the phone, she's like, c'est chill, c'est chill. Respire. So that's what I did. I just went outside. I sat down, and I remember just the little kids playing outside. There was a school where we used to live, and I sat down, and I remember just sitting down, closing my eyes, asking God. I just prayed. I just asked God. I was like, "Qu'est-ce que je fais? Qu'est-ce que je vais faire?" And it just came back as easy as my mind just told me right away. Tu sais quoi faire, man. Tu sais quoi faire. And I was like, tu sais quoi faire. And I was sitting down. I was like, I have stuff in the garage. Like I have stuff to clean. Like I was cleaning throughout university. I was cleaning throughout my. So I was just like, okay, so I've been giving these advices to all these people way before we were doing that podcast, right? I was telling people you need to 10x this, 10x that, 10x your sales. Then if this doesn't work, you need to switch. I was giving these advices already. So I was like, tu sais quoi faire. Là, il faut que tu fasses la même chose que tu as dit à tout le monde pendant des années. Il va falloir que tu t'assoies, tu prennes les balais que tu as dans ton garage parce que c'est ça qui marche en ce moment. Les gens ont besoin de ménage. Les gens ont besoin de désinfection. People needed the disinfector. So that's what I did. And that's what we did. And we started with one contract. I ended up hiring my mom because she lost her job. My mom was doing calls. So we started like very few calls. You saw the numbers at the beginning. It was like so little. And my mom, I was just like putting my mom on the payroll, bro, with money that I didn't have. So I didn't have that. That money was the leftovers from my other business. I was just transferring and pouring into I didn't have that money. That money was my money to survive. But I was just like, my survival was based on W's, not on money. Money is not enough. So money was probably going to get me through. Like I was just married I got married months ago. Puis, j'avais de l'argent comme j'aurais pu rester dans la pandémie, rester assis, jouer à Call of Duty, puis j'aurais pu être correct. But that's not what we did. We started a business, we used the money, and the rest is history. The W's were more important. The W's that we picked up along the way were more important. And for someone who's just starting, if you're cleaning one office a day, you need to start looking for 2 to 3 to 4.
Do you think everybody could have that stomach? Do you think everybody could have that, or it's only a certain amount of people?
Anybody that gets into survival mode, like some of us, we just got it too easy.
Do you think
here,
some
man.
people just sink? Do you think some people just sink?
What do you mean sink? Like they sink
like
inside,
some people if most people get to that point, do you think there's a survival mode that everyone could unlock, or is it just not for everybody and some people will just panic and drown?
Bro, my story. I don't want to talk too much about my story, but I think that it's still hard. Both are hard. So I feel like people are trying to find an easy way. There's no easy way. The easy way now will get you through hard later, because you did not compensate for the loss of XYZ, for the basement flooded, for the cancer of some family members, that now you need to like get through treatments, and you're like something basic as just like me having a child, my wife got pregnant. That's something that's so beautiful and so happy, but I need to make some time for that because it's a new priority. And it doesn't have to be bad. It could be good. But if you don't prepare for that and you're just taking always the easy way, and you're like, yeah, $70,000 a year is enough. Well, money is not enough. Like, money is not enough to get yourself through life. So people are putting numbers, and instead they should stop thinking and talking about like their salary and money and start living. And to me, living is having projects, getting them known, and getting them sold.
Like what we're doing right now with this podcast, for example. Admit, this is living. Because if you think about it, when we started, it was like
it doesn't bring me a penny. I'm not making $1 from this right now.
Right?
Maybe in the future. I'm not thinking about this. I'm thinking.
But you enjoy it. We enjoy it. We enjoy the conversation, and that's why we do it. And that's why it's inevitable that it's going to work. You know, and for sure it would work faster. For sure it would work faster if we both didn't have other stuff on the side. But hey, I wanted to talk. I texted you yesterday. You didn't answer me. I don't know if we should continue like on this live, but. Let's actually, yeah. Well, let's end the live because it's getting late. I'll talk to you after about it.
Yeah. Go back to work, but
yeah.
But yeah, bro. Let's.
We had a couple of viewers who stayed for a long time there, so appreciate that, guys.
Shout out to you guys. See you tomorrow. Puis on espère que vous avez trouvé ça intéressant autant que nous autres. Toujours intéressant d'avoir du monde avec nous autres qui se joignent à nous pour nos daily live streams. Ciao, guys. Have a good one.
Guys.
Thank you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.